All right. We'd like to welcome everybody here to Artists Around You. I'm Brian Joseph. Behind the camera is Mr. Chad Urich, and we're happy that you're tuning in to our program. We hope that you have enjoyed the programs that we put on before with the artists around the area and getting to meet them. And we really appreciate you tuning in and following us, or liking us, whatever you do on Facebook or YouTube. We also, if you're following us, don't just click us on Facebook. If you can go directly to YouTube, that way YouTube counts the views or whatever. And when you do it on Facebook, they're a little sneaky and doesn't always happen. So yeah, that way we'll get a lot of likes and follows on YouTube as well, not just Facebook. But today we're here with artist Nevada Hart, a fantastic guitar player, instrument tech. I'm not sure what all the instruments he plays, but we want to introduce you to Mr. Nevada Hart. We were talking just a second ago about the first time we met was at the Cross Keys Bar. There's a band playing, and I think Nevada was already sitting there at the bar, and I sat down beside him and ordered a beer, and we struck up a conversation. I think you were new to the area at that time.
Yes.
You just moved to Chillicothe,
Mm-hmm.
and he was kind of curious about the music scene in the area, and we kind of struck up a conversation as far as we have common likes, and so the friendship went from there, and it was kind of a very nice coincidence that we sat down together and listened to some music and talked about things going around in the area. What we would like to do right now is have Nevada play us a tune to start off, and we'll get into the interview and discussion after a tune, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well,
Okay.
This is something I made up.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Follow Me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a real basic thing, but it's just,
Mm-hmm.
just mellow stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was on purpose.
What was the name of that tune again?
Follow Me.
Follow Me?
Yeah, so it kind of is trying to catch up with itself as far as the timing goes.
Mm-hmm.
And these extremely light 8 strings on here, 8,000s, they're a little bendy, so... but this is made up. I built this guitar for blues, so I put these really small strings on there, so I won't have to work so hard.
To bend them.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I bet that would be that'd be a nice tune on an acoustic guitar. So,
It would have been better on the acoustic,
Yeah.
but hindsight.
Yeah. Well, but you and I both have a love of live music.
Yes.
And that's what part of why we want to present this program to people is to support the arts and to support live music. And when it's live, things can happen, and you just sometimes have to go with the flow, and that's just the way it is. So, but as far as getting to know you, Nevada, number one, I'm not even sure if I know where you grew up.
Well, I'm from Logan, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I lived on a farm.
Mm-hmm.
I started playing guitar at 9.
Mm-hmm.
I played in the barn. I played for the horse,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I don't know if it liked it or not, but I started playing the back.
He didn't kick you.
No. I was 9, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to tell you what year it was, but it was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know, I just didn't want to stop. I just kept on going, and you know, been in a couple hundred bands, more than I wanted to be in, but bands didn't seem to last very long through the years. A lot of us are in one band, then all of a sudden somebody says, "Oh, I'm tired of this," you know, or whatever.
Well, you know, at bands, you know, when young kids, you know, their attention spans are, you know, everybody's learning their own way around, and you know, some people they stick in, you know, they like that path of music and keep on and trucking, and they'll find people with like minds, but you know, again, youth, you know, people tend to get interested in other things. Now, how were you all self-taught?
Pretty much. When I was in the Marine Corps, I did take some theory lessons in Hawaii. I was stationed there. I was kind of lucky there, but I studied some theory. I've already forgotten all of it, but you know, I got to play in the Marine Corps jazz band a couple of times, and you know, I got to play overseas a lot. We had a band called Special Forces, which I was recon, so it was appropriate, and we'd play as we were, you know, we'd be on the ships, on top of the ships, playing as they pulled into port, and you know, I played more there than I did when I wasn't in the military. So I don't know how that worked out, but it was cool.
Good. How long were you in the military?
4
years. Okay. Okay. All right. So you were in recon, but then they realized that hey, you're pretty good.
They'd fly me from one ship to another to play with different bands. So I was like, you know, I got special attention, which made everybody not happy about that. But you know, my outfit didn't quite like that much. But I had a lot of fun. I didn't think I'd get to play, but I played more while I was in. So,
what's the most exotic place you ever played?
Well, there was some nice casinos out in, you know, Vegas that there was ballets and a few others that I was pretty impressed with it. I was like, whoa, you know, this is cool. But in Nashville, a couple of places when I was working with some bands there. But you know, there's been so many venues that I enjoy. I don't know which one I like the most, you know, but I just like a lot of people, you know. So
you want to play in front of people and
lots of people.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of you know, your adrenaline gets going. It's fun.
What's the biggest crowd?
I don't know, probably 10 or 15,000.
Yeah. Not bad.
You know, outside stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, going back to growing up. Now, you grew up in Logan, Ohio, and in our conversations in the past, you've mentioned Dean Imboden, another fantastic musician who lives in Chillicothe now.
Well, there was a couple. Dean was, you know, he inspired me quite a bit because he was a jazz guy, and he just blew my mind. And then another friend of mine I grew up with and was in the same grade, Audie Weichel, and he represents the Chet Atkins thing they have in Nashville. Those guys just, you know, blew my mind. Really, really good. And Dean ended up here in this town, and I was surprised to see him here too. So I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Yeah.
So when you and I first met, you had just got to Chillicothe. What brought you to Chillicothe?
Well, my wife wanted to keep up with her son. He moved to Columbus, so we just kept following up the river, moving, you know, and trying to get closer, so she can keep track of him. And I like this town. I think it's a guitar town because every other person plays guitar. And all my neighbors around here play, and so I really liked it. And then the people I've met here, they're music nuts like me. So yeah, I decided, well, this is it. And you know, my wife, she kind of adjusted to it, and we're still here.
Great. Well, how about another tune for us? And I know you've got some other guitars around you might want to play, and so you want to stick with that
Yeah,
one?
this is fine.
Okay, all right.
This is fine.
Okay.
Oh, let's see. Don't get any mellower than this.
Okay. Now that was the you kind of started off mellow, and then you got into the Chet Atkins stuff. I know that since I've met you, there's an organization that has been around here a little bit, as Foothill Folk Society, and in the past they've done some concerts and at OUC, which is a very nice theater, and when we have a concert there, it was always for raising money for Good Sam's Food Bank.
That's a good thing.
And
yes.
you're a part of that. And what was, I can't remember the name of that. There's a particular program, I think, it was about inspiration. And the theme of it was what inspires you. And you chose Chet Atkins.
Yes.
And you got up there and played a couple of great Chet Atkins tunes.
Oh, thank you.
So when you play that style, did you kind of fall into it, or was it an outreach of just your finger style, or you all of a sudden thought, I want to play like Chet Atkins?
Well, I mentioned Adi Weichel that I grew up with. He was way into the Chet thing. His dad and mom hung out with George Jones in Nashville, and they had the records and such. So his background was music. All of his brothers played. He was into this Chet thing, and I was like, how do you do that? And he would show me, I'll use his thumb to play the bass and then adds rhythm and stuff. So I would just practice and practice and try to do that. And I'm like, what's this guy doing? And he was like playing everything that Chet ever did. And he was playing it. Man, we were teenagers. And so I just kept practicing. And finally one day it clicked. Everything came together, and I started playing this thumb style stuff. I'm like, wow, I like this.
Yeah.
And then he and I used to play together, and he would do harmonies with me, and it was just a lot of fun. But have some good memories. He's still in Logan, but he has done a lot of traveling and played in Nashville a lot. And he's still huge inspiration to me. So yeah.
Oh, good. I know when people do try to develop that finger style, whether it's the blues or Chet Atkins, or any other style that includes that alternate picking with the thumb, it's like they work, and all of a sudden it clicks.
It clicks. Yeah, you just got to keep at it.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of patience. But it works for all styles of music. You can get a lot from having that kind of background. You can play a lot of different things, and you don't have to always sound like thumb style, but it's a good foundation for all styles of music. So.
Yeah, it's. I know that I've been to some of the areas where they teach that, and it's a chore to learn it, but once you got it, it's a great tool to have in your toolbox. So
it's like banjo or something, and you got to just keep at it.
Yeah. So in the military years, through when you moved back, when you got out of the military, did you come right back to Ohio, or did you travel around?
Well, me and some guys had a plan. We had a band together called Special Forces. So we went out to California right away after we got out, and we was out there, and we kind of starved. We decided this is no fun. So I moved back with one of the guys to Denver, Colorado. I'd just been all over the place, but I got into a few bands there and did some traveling there, and then went on to do other stuff. But it was a pretty good band we had. But when you're in California and you don't have a plan, it doesn't work out very well.
Okay. So you're just winging it, and
Yeah,
it just
we were winging it. Yeah. But the guys were really good. And it was fun. But would I do it again? Probably not. No, I wouldn't go there again.
Were you actually in Los Angeles or just in the
I
other?
was 50 miles below Los Angeles on a Pacific Coast Highway. It was like close to Orange County, and we did a lot. We had to travel like 50 miles just to the rehearsal spot, and we did that for a while. But honestly, you have to hold down a job until things are gone, and none of us. There was only one guy that wanted to work, and rest of us like. We laid around and ate crackers. That's all we had.
Because that's all we had.
But we didn't. We just wanted to play music. But you can't just take off and play music. If you're going out somewhere like that, you've got to hold down a job and survive. Yeah. So that's a lesson right there.
Yeah. So you went to Colorado with a buddy, and were you still playing music, or did you get a job then?
I actually got a job. I was a head maintenance man at a Days Inn, and until I found a body on the 4th floor, and I decided I don't want to work here anymore.
Okay.
And but I played in a pretty good rock band there. We did stuff like Yes and things like that. It's a pretty good band. And then I went on the road with a band called Ticket. That was a 3-piece, and that was played close to Canada and Minnesota and Wyoming and all those areas out there.
Were you doing the club circuit, or were you warming other bigger name acts up, or what?
We had an agent and a booking agent, and he was just sending us different places, and it just small venues. It wasn't anything major. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the drummer decided to break the bass player's leg in a squabble, and so I'm like, I don't think I want to keep on doing this.
Okay.
But it's fun out there, but it's hard to find people that get along. So okay.
Well, get along over the long term. You may have been okay for a year, but then after that, it was that. So from Colorado, you came. When did you come back to Ohio then?
Let's see. Well,
it
would have been in the late. Well, I'm telling my age. It would have been in, let's see, it would have been actually, I got out of the Marine Corps in 85. I went in late. But, and so I was probably 87 that I came back to Ohio and started, back into the music.
So was that after the broken leg debacle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There was other things, but, so I came back to Ohio and, started, doing what I did, the rest of my life, was just getting bands together and going out and playing.
Yeah. When you were talking about getting a job, and I always wondered about because you are very good at instrument maintenance, instrument and instrument building. Because if anybody needs their instrument worked on, you're one of the guys that they ought to consider.
Thanks.
And I kind of expected you to say, well, I got a job at this guitar shop or wherever, and that's where I learned how to do all this. But how did you learn? It's one thing you have your practice your Chet Atkins, but a guy comes in and he wants to, he needs a neck adjustment, or he wants to replace pickups in his guitar, or his guitar's playing like it's terribly, so I need it worked on. Where did you come up with that skill?
Well, I didn't want to have to pay anybody to do my own stuff, and since when I lived on a farm as a kid, I grew up where there was a junkyard, and I was all the time building stuff anyway. So I was always wanting to experiment and find out more about the instrument, and so I just tear up a few and fix them up the way I wanted them. And I've done that for a lot of years, and somehow I ended up working in a couple of music stores and doing maintenance and teaching, and it just went from there. You know, I have a lot of instruments to keep up, so
Yes.
I practice
I
all
do
the
know
time
that,
at it.
yes.
But my favorite hobby is taking, like, there's a guitar in a dumpster, you know, I'm like, I hate that. I have to bring it back to life. So I'll grab it and I'll just, you know, get parts and fix it up and make it live again. You know, it's kind of a thing. And then other people found out what I did, and they just started bringing stuff to me. And they liked the kind of work I do because, you know, nobody knows what's under the hood, where the pickups are. But I care about what it looks like. I try to make everything look like NASA, you know, the wiring and stuff, make it real pretty, because it's a peace of mind for me. You know, I just like to take pride in it. And when people take their guitars apart and see what I did, they're like, whoa, this guy's serious. So I like that. I like, and, you know, there's just, it's something about people being happy when they get their guitars back. They just, you know, they're just so excited because it plays so good and it sounds good, and it just makes me feel better about myself, which everybody needs to feel better about themselves, because we can be our worst enemy. Okay, but man, it just see them happy. So y'all just keep bringing them to me.
Yeah, keep him busy. He doesn't want to get rusty. Well, what we're going to do right now, I know that Nevada's worked a little bit on my instrument, and I wouldn't let just anybody work on this. It's a nice little Gibson Sam Bush model. But I want to kind of play a song with you.
Okay.
This is just a little bluesy jazz kind of thing that a guy named Barry Mitterhoff taught me. And for me, it's just a little thing that to practice some jazz chords and rhythms. But I sent it to you, and we thought we'd kind of jam over that for a little bit. There's no particular name to this. It could be called Nevada. I don't know. But play this one with you here. 1, 2, 3, 4. that you like. You're prone to improvise, which is a fun thing to do. As for myself, I'm not so much of an improviser. I'm working on it, but
You sound good to me.
but that was just a little tune. I guess we'll call that Nevada, for a lack of anything else. So I know when we ran the open mic at the Cross Keys, we did that for like almost 5 years, 4 or 5 years. You would come in and we'd always introduce Nevada, and he would come up and one of the jokes was, "Where are you going to play?" And he goes, "I don't know yet." He's already plugged in and ready to go. "Where are you going to play?" "Don't know." And he would just start into something, and so it was just pure improvisation, which is a pretty cool thing to do. And so everybody was always impressed and liked it. And so can you show us a couple of your other guitars? I know we talked about having you do a lot of work on it, and I know you bring guitars back to life. So,
well, yeah. Well, that acoustic would be fine.
Adjust your mic while ago.
That's fine.
It was here and you were talking that way. I thought, man, I'm gonna play fine that way.
Okay. Well, I have names for my guitars. I have a lot of guitars because I'm a kind of a pack rat kind of person. I have a lot of stuff, and and I just like guitars. They're like pieces of art. So I just have a lot of them. And well, it doesn't need to be plugged in. This one I call Harry.
Okay.
It happens to have. When they did the finish, they left the dirt and the hair and everything else in the finish, and they lacquered over the top. This is a very nice guitar. It's a Teton, and I really like it. But I got a good
the
deal.
binding is very nice on it. Yeah,
It's just a really nice guitar. And then of course I had to soup it up like I do everything. I put a brass nut on this, and then of course this is a brass bridge and brass pins, and it kind of makes it ring out a little bit more. So I like it, but this one's called Harry, and then I have another one that I've always wanted. This Schecter guitar that I'm going to get Chad to bring over to me. Thank you, Chad.
I gotta be useful.
And this was the ultimate guitar in my mind. I've always wanted one, and somehow I managed to fall into one. And so I was all excited. I took it to the gig, and it has all this fancy inlay on it. Well, I got to looking at the inlay and got dizzy and got lost on where I was at. I'm like, okay, so I leave it at home and I play it in the studio and stuff. But this is.
Did you like the way it sounded and played?
I love the way it played and sounded, but if you look at the neck and it has all this beautiful inlays. It just messes with your head, It's like, but this has been something I've always wanted, and I don't have any money in it. I get stuff pretty cheap, I don't like to.
Where'd you come across this one at?
This was at the local music store,
okay,
BBB, and I was contracting out of there for a while, and doing their repairs. But they had this come in, and there's not very many of these available. But if you ever see one that's called a classic Schecter Classic Diamond Series, they're great guitars, but you have to wear sunglasses or something so you can't see the neck.
Yeah, because that's something you can't gloss over. It's right there. So yeah.
But anyway, I've always wanted one, and now I have one, and I hardly play it because it makes me dizzy.
Now, so.
Thank you.
What you're playing right there now, I think you play that, and this one is when you're with the Kenny Valentine Band.
Kenny Valentine
Or
Band.
actually, were you using this when you play with Jimmy Berger too? I think.
I do use this too. Yes. This one, I went down to Florida and brought a bunch of guitars back for a friend of mine, and I fixed about 60 of them for him. And instead of money, I just wanted like the stuff that wasn't all that, that needed a lot of work and money spent on them. So. This was in that collection of a few that I picked out.
Now, is this an American model, or is this
I think this neck may be. This is. I put this together from parts, and I'm not all about vintage stuff at all, but I ended up liking Fender after all the years of not liking it. But I just ended up at they're pretty the ultimate guitar as far as comfort goes. But this has got parts that are from just wherever I can find them, and these are mini humbuckers, basically single coil, and I put push-pull switches in there so I can get some tricks happening, so I can get my different sounds, and it's what I use when I'm in band, and it does the job.
Yeah.
I like it. So, yeah.
I know when I've seen you out playing, it's almost like you do have a different guitar every time. Although here lately, that's the one I do see you consistently with, and so I think it might maybe you settle
it's
settling
actually
into that one.
comfortable. You know, you need to be comfortable and have a lot of sounds available, because we do a lot of different kinds of material that requires a lot of different sounds. You know, so this sounds like several different guitars on its own. So you know, I like it.
Yeah. Now, another little talent you have that I think everybody should know is the fact that you do some recording as an engineer, and one of the things that I admire you most for is the fact that, I don't know how it happened, but you became involved with musically with Ashley Huffer. I'm not sure, you maybe met her at the open mic or however that came about, and you kind of took her under your wing as far as working with her and encouraging her, and now she's doing very well as far as playing around here, writing her own material. And you did record. I'm not sure if you helped her record or if you recorded that at Chad's.
Well, we did it at Chad's studio. I met her. The way I met her was a friend of mine was a jazz keyboardist. He was a Vietnam vet. He was kind of, you know, he was a wild guy. He said, well, he gave her my number, and said, hey, you need to call this guy. He can help you a lot. You know, because she quit playing music. She completely stopped. You know, and so he thought she, you know, I guess he heard her saying, he was in the hospital at the time, and she was working at a hospital. And he was impressed, so he thought that I should hear her. And so she called me up, and I'm like, okay. So, you know, we get together, and it turned out that she and I could write a lot of stuff together. You know, I just come up with the music, and she had the words. And so we started throwing stuff together and did a little duo thing, and then decided to do a CD. And then, you know, Chad was right there to help us out. Yeah. And
she had some smoky vocals. I really liked.
Yeah. She could belt it. And so a couple of years of that, and you know, and then she was able to go on her own. I was trying to get her into playing guitar, but it takes little effort, you know, but she just liked to eat up there and grab the mic and sing, But I'm glad that she got back into music, you know, and it kind of helped me get known in the area, and I wanted to get to know people, and so that was a good way to do that, to get, you know, and so I have a lot of friends that I wouldn't have met, you know, if I hadn't helped her out. So.
Yeah, it's amazing that the path your life takes and the people you meet. And,
it's interesting.
Yeah, and I know every now and then she would post a video of you guys playing a tune that she had just written, and I think you were up in your recording studio area and posted that on Facebook and stuff. So it was pretty good, and it's a pretty cool thing. I mean, and part of the reason, like even for me, the reason getting into Folk Society was to meet people, and at that time there were a lot of musicians coming in and jamming, and I thought, well, gosh, I need to get to meet more of these people. And so that was part of that reason. And so, you know, what I think that as a musician, you can play around at home all you want, but the whole idea is to play with people. And networking, it's it's all about networking and learning. Gosh, they play guitar. Oh, he plays drums. They're a good singer. And you all call up in some Saturday evening or Sunday afternoon. You call them up, say, let's get together and play a little bit. And that's what it's all about: is live music. Not sitting there listening to the radio.
I think the open mic at Cross Keys was the best thing ever, and it was really a good source for me to get out and meet people, and not just to fix their guitars, but just to get to know them. And I have like a whole bunch of professor friends that I like to hang out with, and they all play. That's amazing. And but there's just great people in this town, and I'm just tickled to death to be here. It's awesome.
So, well, I'm glad you're around.
Well, thank you. Well,
so,
you got anything
in
you
more
need
ways than one, we're all glad to be here. Yeah.
Need anything else fixed?
Well, let's see. My heart. No.
Oh, okay. No, you're fine.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're doing better.
Yeah. And
that was
yeah.
crazy.
So that was a fun time. Yes. So. Now, I think you do some electronic work as far as with your guitars. You don't do a lot of amplifier work.
I'll do occasional things like that, pedal here and there. But really, I want to focus on just guitar electronics. And if somebody wants their guitar souped up, make it do things that it's not meant to do, that's what I like to do. Yeah.
Now, currently, your music projects are Kenny Valentine Band?
Yes.
And then you play out with some with Jimmy Berger. Any others?
Well, there's a fella I met recently, Mark Goodman, that does the Chet style. He's left-handed, so it looks kind of cool. His neck's pointing one way and mine's pointing the other when we play. It's kind of neat. But he and I play really well together, and he lives here. And so I would like to, maybe we could get him in here sometime, and we'll do a video on him.
Yeah,
but
I know he's from way back. I mean, whenever I first came to Chillicothe in the 80s, I think, or maybe it was in the late 70s, I would drive up from Chillicothe to look for some bands. He was in a band called Teaser, and they were the
top one.
They were the real thing as far as playing some good rock and roll.
Well, he's a player. He's really good.
So okay, well, can you play us one more out?
Well, grab your mandolin.
Oh, okay. What would you like me to play on the mandolin?
I don't know. You want to do a little blues?
Okay, we can do some blues.
And you sing too.
I sing. Well, see, we did Blues Stay Away From Me. What else can I play? Let's see. There's one, Before You Accuse Me, which is still saying a thing in E.
Okay.
But before you accuse me, baby, take a look at yourself. Yeah, before you accuse me, baby, take a look at yourself. Say I'm spending my money on other women, you're taking money from someone else. I called your mama, baby, 3 or 4 nights ago. Yeah, I called your mama, baby, 3 or 4 nights ago. Your mama said, boy, won't you leave that poor girl alone? Try my love one more time. Said, come on home, baby. Try my love one more time. If my love don't go to suit you, oh, I think I'll lose my mind. more time. Yeah, before you accuse me, baby, take a look at yourself. Yeah, before you accuse me, baby, take a look at yourself. Say I'm spending my money on other women, you're taking money from someone else. Hey, yeah, before you accuse me, baby, take a look at yourself. Yeah, before you accuse me, baby, take a look at yourself. Say I'm spending my money on other women, you're taking money from someone else. Mr. Nevada Hart, thanks for watching. Chad and I both appreciate your time, and like us and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Artists around you, thank you very much.